Peace and power. Peace and power, everybody. We are back. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. We are going to be reading chapter 14 today. I am Nina from Styles by Nina. Welcome to all the new people, all the new subscribers. Also, welcome back to everybody that's been here through both books. We are almost halfway through. Yep, we at the middle part of the book. And so we're just getting it in. Can't wait to finish. Hopefully we'll be finished by the end of the year. We don't know. We gotta count. But we're just gonna get it in. We're gonna pick up. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to see what I'm doing on my other platforms, go to the link on my YouTube homepage. My link tree is there and all of my social media as well. I'm Styles by Nina on most of my social media except for Twitter. Twitter, Urban Intellectual at Styles by Nina. And so don't forget to support. Y'all feel free to hit that PayPal link. Feel free to donate anytime. We are taking out our time just trying to heal the community. And so we don't ask for nothing in return, just for you to comment, subscribe, and like. And also to share. Share this information. Lisa, you gonna introduce yourself?
Oh, yes. Hi. My name is Lisa. My IG name is Apples Forever Scents. I'm a creator and I make candles to order. So if you definitely like candles and are interested, please send me a DM so I can connect with you. Um, yeah, that's all I got to say. But let me just tell you, right? When you introduced the chapter we was on, right?
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I'm looking at chapter 15 and I'm like, nah, Nina, we not on 14, we on 15. So I'm eager to finish this book and learn all the things that I can learn about it.
I'm looking, I'm like, dang. Yeah, 14 kind of long. 15 is the blueprint for success. 16, raising children successfully. Then we have 17, we're getting into the Tantra arts.
Mm-hmm.
That's focusing on intimacy. And chapter 18, the relationship underworld. That sounds interesting.
Yes. Yes.
And y'all, so on and so forth. Okay, this book has how many chapters is it?
I think it's like 20.
Let me see.
20.
17. I'm looking. 19 is awakening the pleasure. Okay, so we don't went from the healing, the archetypes, all the way into the intimacy. And then of course we know the case studies are at the end of the book. That probably is chapter 20. A bunch of one of these say in search of good pussy. Okay. So just like women be out here searching, men
Mm-hmm.
be searching
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, they sure do.
And so we're gonna get into it. Lisa's gonna start. I'm gonna count the pages and get the charts ready.
Honey, it's 10, okay?
Okay.
10 must have been our number because for the last couple of chapters, it's been 10. So I don't know what's going on with that number 10, but it's something.
10 is the number of completion. It's the completion of a cycle.
Okay.
So, that's big in itself. A lot of us are closing out phases in our lives and moving forward to higher ground. Higher ground. I had a moment last night. It was very clear. I had a moment. I was telling Lisa, oh, we didn't share on social media. Let me share. I was telling Lisa last night, I just realized that I no longer have it in me to meet people that need healing. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like for years, going around and trying to heal everybody I have come in contact with, which has over time left me depleted and without empathy on certain levels, which is never a good thing. And it's solely because it's not my job to heal everybody. And so from this point forward, I said last night to myself, that's it. Like, if I come in contact with chaotic energy or heavy dark energy, I'm just gonna keep it pushing. I really, really don't have the capacity for it anymore. I am burnt out. When
Yeah.
you go around and you're trying to save everybody and nobody's pouring back, it just leaves an empty, dried out vessel. And I'm just trying to replenish myself at this point. No matter who, and I say who, but when we're dealing with the masculine doesn't really have time sometimes to focus on healing. Our men are just trying to stay above water, and that's okay for themselves. But when you come in contact with other people, nobody's responsible for your healing. You have to really, really put the work in. Like I have been the last 6, 7 years. It's been a long, long time. And healing doesn't happen overnight. It comes and you're constantly having to work on it. Nobody is going to be fully healed.
Mhm.
Um, but it becomes easier, I'll say, over time. Um, you have your moments. Like I had a big moment yesterday. It was just like, yeah. Um, what does every relationship look like? And so it has been from a place of potential. And that's why they say you shouldn't date potential. If the person is not who you want to date today, then don't waste that time, because if they never become that person, then what are you left with? Your energy being depleted and drained. And so, yeah, it was like a revelation. I don't know what yesterday's placements were astrology wise. I do know this full moon was heavy and it was beautiful. Did you see it?
I
Yeah.
did see it a little bit. Yeah, it was. I
Yeah.
did take a couple pictures, but um, it's like we're leaving a lot of things behind, and it's on the forefront.
Hmm.
You know, and when things come to an end, it's like you have to move forward and not bring the stuff that um, is coming to an end with you into your new
Hmm.
chapter.
And a lot of us get stuck carrying this stuff. It's like,
Uh
yeah,
huh.
that's not healthy. Don't carry that into your higher ground. You
Yep.
you're supposed to be shedding the stuff. And so
Right.
I decided yesterday, at this point, I'm just gonna focus on pouring into myself. If I get a second chance at meeting somebody, that's fine. But right now, yeah, they would definitely have to be a healed version of themselves, somebody who's working on self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Yeah, yesterday I had a conversation with a young man, and he indicated to me that it's so many people that are dying, and it's like he don't know what this world is currently in. So many people dying, and it's just like people walking around like robots.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a real deep conversation. I'm not going to say too much more about it, but um, the times that we are in is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And right now you just have to be very observant,
Mm-hmm.
and just watch how you move and watch how others move.
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't even know why I actually brought that up, but maybe it was something that I needed to say, because that ain't, I don't know. Sometimes things just pop out my mouth and I don't know where it's coming from, but it maybe, I don't know, maybe I had to say it for somebody out there listening.
Right. Right. It's for somebody, and that's it. It's just like
Yeah.
um, this is a season of things dying away.
Yeah.
I shared last week, same thing. I heard somebody say, we don't acknowledge that the fall is the scent of things dying. We all love it,
Yep.
but we don't really identify what it is. These are things that are passing away. And so we know in a couple more months in the springtime, everything will be new again. We feel better, our energy will be lighter, but if you can just dwell on that one thought, these are things dying. The grass, the leaves, it's all dying. And you don't see the leaves walking around being sad about it. They know their leaves gonna be replenishing itself in the spring.
That's
And
right.
so they just exist. And so we want to be more like the trees, to allow things to be let go.
Yep, that's right.
So yeah, we're gonna get into it. All
All
right.
righty, we're gonna get into it, everybody. So, pull out your book, and if you don't have your book, all you need is your ears. You can listen, and if you want to drop some comments, feel free to drop some comments. We do address the comments. So yeah, we about to get into it. Chapter 14, the superior man. There are adult males, and then there are true men. They are not one and the same. The majority of adult males never achieve manhood in modern society. True manhood is a matter of maturity and is defined by the attainment of a certain level of male energy. Such a mature man will generate a level of respect, and his history will be superior. The activation of the four archetypes of masculine energy, as we have just defined, is what it takes to be a complete man. The same follows for females, with most females never expressing their natural feminine energy to any full degree during the course of their life. If males develop naturally and fully, they will perform well. If you do not develop, expect partial failure. At some point, the male task of husband, father, lover, warrior, and healer will call you. You may attempt to perform, but find you lack what it takes. Are you willing to risk this? Know that society and family suffers as a result. Children, wives, school teachers, policemen, and doctors all must work harder to compensate for these tasks not being adequately performed. When males fail to mature into men, many important things are left undone in the family and in the world, with these consequences being devastating. Women are taxed and overburdened in their attempts to operate a family when the males involved are immature. Mm. Let me say that one more time. Women are taxed and overburdened in their attempts to operate a family when the males involved are immature. And
Gonna
that's
pass the collection plate. Gonna pass the.
you. You heard me say. Let me say this again, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole word right there in itself.
Mm-hmm.
These are three levels or three stages of male development. Males fall into three categories. There is the inferior man, the superior man, and the divine man. The inferior man is also called the juvenile male. A man can be 40 years old, but still in the juvenile stage of development. These categories are not arbitrary standards. In the classic sense, they are derived from the tree of life dynamic. In other words, which section of the nine spheres a person is operating from. Another measure is the degree of severity of the counterfeit persona. Another measure is how many of the four male archetypes a man has activated. Using the classic Kemetic terms, there is the inferior man, Soha, the superior man, Ab, and the divine man, Ba. At each stage of evolution, a male is a different species of being. The dynamic of masculine energy flows through him in different ways. The man with the healer archetype, active, will behave very different at the inferior stage, superior stage, and the divine stage of his development. There are probably less than 100,000 men total on the divine level in the entire world. Wow. We will make the distinctions clearer as the chapter progresses. Let's review the information presented about the hunter and how he responds at each level. Okay, you're going to put the chart up? Before we go into the chart, was there anything that you wanted to discuss?
No, it's just what you said.
I know.
Women I'm like, women are overtaxed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're dealing with immaturity. And that's why I say, we have been taught to feel bad about wanting a certain stature of man.
Mm-hmm.
We keep like, oh, okay, well.
We settle. We just settle. Because we don't think we are, that person that can want more.
Yeah, we're taught that it's something wrong with wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the weirdest thing ever.
Yep.
Okay, so what chart I'm looking for? We got so many. I hope I ain't deleted.
108, level, source of money, and who dispersed to.
Girl, all I got is emergency bank. Like, this is just out of control. Let me try to find it. Yeah, how me and Lisa be having so much going on. Let me see what it look like. Sahu. Let me see. That's not it. It's the Sahu chart, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Oh, okay. What chapter did we go over that chart?
That probably was chapter 13. Now we're on 14. On 14.
Maybe I deleted it. Let me try. Hold on.
All right. Well, while you're looking for it, I'm going to start reading the chart.
Okay.
Okay. So levels, source of money, and who dispersed to. The Saho, the inferior man, any source and any means, trade, interest from loans, thievery, and assets. And that's his source of money. Who dispersed to? Family and required legal ties to tribe, will hoard. The superior man, Abe, source of money, only trades of equal value from nature, products and services do not harm, assets. Who dispersed to? Family, tribe, charity, and investments, more assets. Divine man, Ba, source of money, manifestation, gifts, assets that progress human society. Who dispersed to? Tribe, causes which progress human society, and organizations that restore natural society. The hunter at all levels of evolution recognizes the abundance and takes from the abundance. At the lower levels, he moves money and assets from the control of others to bring it under his control. At the higher levels, he moves money from the control of others to use it to rebuild society in the image of nature. At the inferior Saho level, he sees money and assets as extensions of himself. He possesses the money. At the superior Ab level, he sees money as currency, a means to an end. He is not attached to the money. At the Ba or divine level, he sees money as energy. Money becomes a current or an agency of doing. This money flows through society like blood. To the Saho hunter, money is seen only in the context of I. To the Ab or superior hunter, money is seen only in the context of we. To the Ba hunter, money is seen in the context of it. Wow. So I guess the superior hunter, money is in the context of we, and that's where everybody is trying to get to, the we. Well, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I hope. Ain't nobody just out here on I.
Well, you do have some people that's out here that's only on I.
Right.
The warrior, ego, and healer all have similar dynamics. Basically, you are getting minimal benefits from your male attributes at the inferior level. There is the illusion that you are taking care of business, but in time, you reflect back and notice the errors. Your time value drops. Your experiences are marginal. You are pleased because you got some extra money and now you can pay your monthly bills. But you are not prosperous. You are happy because you are getting sex. But the quality is mediocre. But how would you know? You are happy because your normal illnesses are not bothering you right now. But again, this is a juvenile position. Your kidneys and your liver are both struggling. In a few months, you will be sick. The superior man would know, and he would be taking preventative measures. The superior man is hitting on more cylinders. He experiences less setbacks. His experiences are far superior. The inferior man has sex for 12 minutes and ejaculates. He lowers his life force. The superior man has sex for 1 hour and orgasms 5 times. He held his seed and did not ejaculate. The next day, he feels more power and mental clarity. The inferior man eats what he wants. His appetites are designed by others. The superior man designs his own appetite so that he likes what his body needs. The superior man follows the cycles and has some warning when the negative conditions are coming. He reads the females with his radar. He sees a woman with a severe CP and only her elegant rolls online. He can predict that a relationship with her will fail in granted fashion. He avoids the encounter and avoids wasting 6 months. Every male desires to be the alpha male, but each man has a different reason to be alpha, as each category of male defines the alpha male very differently according to the 3 major levels of evolution: the juvenile male, Saho male, inferior male. He desires to be the alpha male or win the favor of females. He seeks validation from females and the public at large. The mature male, ab male, superior male. He desires to be the alpha male to win the respect and acclaim of other men. He is not concerned with the opinions of females, for they are historically poor judges of men. He desires to lead men out of the inferior state and up the superior state. He seeks validation in order to improve his tribe. The holy man, the Bamel, the master, the divine. He desires to be the alpha male to conquer and destroy his counterfeit self. He seeks the validation and empowerment from God. Does any of those three males stand out to you, Nina?
Mm, yeah, because at this point we have a lot of men, males. Um, when you said they don't care for the opinion of women, I speak about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you have all these men out here, quote unquote, conscious community, and they're connecting, but you don't see females around them, which is odd. If you
Mm-hmm.
saying the melanated woman is God and she's a queen and where is your queen?
Mm-hmm.
It's just odd behavior. And
Yeah.
so I say that too. Women alike, you talking about all this and you're a queen and this is that, something ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing.
Yeah.
And then we follow people according to what they look like. But these be inferior men. I'm looking here. It says any source and any means trade interest from loans, deeper assets, and so that's the man that go out there and will get it all. That inferior man and try to save it up, hoard it. No, never want to help nobody else. Don't never want to give things away. We it's a sense of brokenness, and then on trades for value. Value. I'm looking here for the superior man. The superior man only trades of equal value.
Mm-hmm.
From nature, products and services do no harm assets. That superior man is a little more aware, unlike the inferior. But that divine man, he knows whatever he puts out, he can manifest more.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're thinking of the whole, how he can give back a little bit to bless others. And
Mm-hmm.
I say that it'd be like the strangest stuff. We have a lot of work boots around here. And I always be like, well, let's just go and give them away so somebody can get a little wear out of them because
Right.
one, they just sit around. And then the
Mm-hmm.
other thing is like, they steal some good. And I always be like, oh, okay, well, they can be good and you give them away. Why people feel like they got to be broke down or something on some level for you to give it to somebody else? And it just reminds me of
Mm-hmm.
hoarding of things. You don't have to keep everything. Everything that you come across um as a blessing, not blessing, blessing, it doesn't mean it's meant for you or for you to
Right.
keep. Sometimes you'll come across some stuff and it's meant for you to give to somebody else, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've met a lot of inferior men, and it's a shame because I can see where they're trying to get to, but a lot of them are lost and they don't know how to get to that,
Mhm.
divine man, the Ba,
Mhm.
because the divine man is typically where a lot of men should be trying to aim towards. Um, it's I don't know how they got to be the inferior man. and I'm sure the book might give us a little bit more detail as to
Mhm.
how they can become the divine man. But I know, you know, if you want to change a situation, you definitely can do it. It's just, you got to want it. Okay. A union of men. Writers down through the ages have something they call the hero story or hero legend. It is a working literary recipe or formula. The template or recipe for the hero in story is taken from the real life versions, not the other way around. The real life hero stories are more fantastic and glorious than the myths in the books. Men who seek to become an alpha male should take note of the hero tale in books and the path the hero had to take to become a living legend. In truth, the hero always involves two men, not one. The main character, the hero, is the archetype of the prince, who cannot become king until he faces a terrible challenge and overcomes it. Only then he can assume the throne and win the acclaim and praise men so desire. In the story, there is always a great evil of that time, normally a man, but sometimes a monster. The evil oppresses the people and makes life hard. The prince or champion must face this great evil of his time and defeat it. But the key person is the archetype of the sage, who guides the hero on his quest against evil. This sage, often portrayed as a wizard, shaman, or priest, is the one who provides the magic and gives to the hero the special weapon for him to use. The sage provides the map, the plan to defeat evil, and until the hero encounters the sage, he is just another rebel fighting but losing. The sage provides the brains, the hero provides the courage and the will. And there is always a woman in these tales. She supports the hero, even when others doubt him, and her support and faith in him is just as important to his victory as the wisdom and magic of the sage. Because without her, he might lose heart and abandon his quest. Sounds very storybook, doesn't it? But in real life, this is exactly how it goes. History is filled with examples of real life heroes and sages. In ancient history, we know the report of Pharaoh Soldier and Imhotep, the great sage and wise man. Imhotep saved the life of Sojar after he was mortally wounded in battle. At the time, Kemet was in disarray. It was not a great empire, but a series of city states warring against one another. Imhotep introduced writing, agriculture, schools, and hospitals. And the city of which Sojar was prince soon became a great power. Sojar built a great army and conquered the other cities, uniting them into a superior military power. The poor remained together and were founders of the third dynasty of ancient Egypt. More importantly, they founded the first great mystery school. Emperor Chang is credited with the unification of China some 5,000 years ago. At the time, he was deemed an impossible feat. China was named in honor of his family. His Qing is said to have followed the teachings of the sage Fu Sha. though records conflict as to how much the two had personal commerce together. Some say that Fu Shai appeared to Qing in his dreams. Others say Qing related to Fu Shai through one of his disciples. But there is no doubt that at some point, Chang made a dramatic shift in policies and changed his whole approach. And after that, he experienced one victory after another. It was thought he had a powerful magic on his side. A more recent example is in the real life of the rebel George Washington, who led the fight for independence of the American colonies from British rule. The sage who guided George Washington was Thomas Jefferson, then the head of the Rosicrucian order and considered one of the wisest men of his day. They were successful and helped to find the nation known today as the United States of America. Although at that time a war against the British Empire was considered unwinnable. Next are Osu Tutu and Okamfi Anakaya of Asante Fama. I'm going to tear these words up, so excuse me in advance. The Akan at that time, during the 1600s, were a series of 7 states who were under the dominion of a large neighboring tribe. They were practically a slave state. Osu Tutu was a general of one of the 7 states who fought a losing battle for independence until he went to the great priest Anakuya, who helped him to change the outcome. Through wisdom, guidance, and magic, Anakuya helped Osai to win battle after battle, gaining the help of the other Akan states along the way. With the guidance of Anakuya, Osai was able to throw off the yoke of the Dankayari and unite the Akan states into the Asante Empire. 200 years later, a man called Kwame Nkrumah would win the independence of the nation of Guam from the British. He is said to have had the assistance of a great fetish priest, Okamfohina Opiraba. I knew this woman personally and attended her funeral when she passed. The behind-the-scenes accounts of how Guam was able to defeat the British are quite fantastic. Bruce Lee was another example of the hero in real life. His sage and guide was a master IP. IP was known publicly as a great martial arts expert, but he disliked fighting and sought always to fight for the rights of the common people after the Japanese invasion and the conversion of China to communist rule. Fidel Castro of Cuba is another modern example of the hero legend. He won Cuba's independence from the United States, again, an impossible feat. He is said to have been assisted by a secretive and powerful Ifa voodoo priest from Cuba. Without the help of the priest, Fidel claims there was no chance of victory. In literature, examples of the hero are King Arthur and Merlin, Aragon and the wizard Gandalf, Karaku and his grandfather, Neo and Morpheus, the Matrix. These heroes of fiction follow the same pattern as their real-life counterparts. The hero or champion is always assisted by sage. The hero carries and expresses the male energy of either the hunter or the warrior. The sage carries the masculine energy of the eagle or the healer. Can you see that? Herein is the key to becoming the alpha male. There are many men of great valor and skill who do not become heroes. They reject the wisdom of the sage, or no sage is present. In life, more often than that, they fail. They are not able to defeat the evil, and they never achieve their quest or gain the throne. When we came to an important crossroads or crisis, we turned to one of the older men, our sage, if you will. Often, their advice seemed to be exactly the opposite of what we would normally do in that situation. But they were always right. In this way, we avoided many pitfalls and setbacks. I learned to do this from my grandfather. Many men today achieve money and power, but never really obtain the title of the alpha male. Why? They lack the sage. The hunter relies on his ability to make money. The warrior relies on his heart and his courage, but this is never enough. They need the cunning of the eagle or the wisdom of the healer. This timeless relationship is expressed in the book, The Art of War. Most men rule or lead by sheer force of their personality. You can win a battle or two this way, but it is never sustainable. Men follow such a leader from fear or a false hope. In a true union of men, the others follow because the leader had subdued his ego enough to follow a wisdom beyond his own. They honor him for this and are loyal. This natural union of men is a powerful force. Only a man who has achieved this loyalty, who governs a true union of men, can call himself an alpha male. Who are these men who follow the alpha male? These are the superior men. A group of superior men form what is called a union of men. These are the men who make things happen in a community. What bonds them together is a combination of two things. First is a code of conduct, and second is the alpha male. The larger this group of superior men, the more powerful is this community in relationship to other similar communities. The strength of the superior men and their union is a measure of their percent of the total population in that community or group. In other words, it is not just a measure of how many there are. It is a measure of how large the group is as a percent of all the men in that community. If only 3% of the adult males in a community are superior men, then this is not a very strong group of men. And this is not a very strong community. If 40% of all adult males in a community are superior men, then this is a very strong group of men. And this will be an exceptional community. There's a science here, and it is not just random conjuncture. The other men in this community are the inferior men. They are the non-superior men. The inferior men will not follow the alpha male willingly. Normally, the inferior men do not like the superior men. The inferior men will always work against the good of the community. They will seek to block the projects and activities that stand for progress. The inferior men often involve themselves in crime, bullying, and abuse of women.
Okay. Am I picking up here?
Okay, yeah.
hmm Y'all know we're gonna pause, man. I'm just jump in. I'm just thinking like that makes sense because
Uh-huh.
the inferior man, they
Yep.
refuse to follow the superior.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
It
It
made me think back to what I was telling you before about the men in the conscious community. And so I know he gonna answer my question later, but it's because it's an imbalance somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay,
mm-hmm.
if that's what that's supposed to look like, then again, where are the women in the background? And you can hide because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't want nobody in my business. That's fine. But if representation matters, then people need to see it in the community.
Mm-hmm.
If we need to see it, an example of it, even the relationships. It's like it's not gonna be perfect. People hide their relationships when they are not happy. They don't want some of that in-house stuff to spill out outwardly, and people are able to see it. And I get that too. Just putting it in the background, keep all the people know is you and your friends or whatever. But we got to get out of there. I don't think that's working.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I can definitely rate with what he just said about the inferior um what do you say? Inferior man is kind of jealous of the superior.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I know in my past I was in a relationship with a inferior man,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see when I met a superior man,
Mm-hmm.
right? I saw how he reacted
Mm-hmm.
to the superior man.
Lisa, I love you. Look at you just shining. Yeah, you can
You know?
tell, and it's a unjustified reaction
Uh huh.
because superior men, being that they're not easily intimidated, it doesn't bother them on that level. But an inferior man, it'll bother them.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. And then that's when you got the, uh, you know, just all the negativities just start popping out, and from how the inferior man responds, oh, he has an issue or a problem with that superior man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely was in a relationship with the inferior. So when I just read that, I was like, wow, so that's why he act the way he act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
I learn
crazy.
every day when I read. Every time we read this book, I'm learning something.
Right.
Mm, it's deep.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick up. I'm gonna start back that sentence. The inferior men often involve themselves in crime, bullying, and abuse of women. They are not concerned with the good of the whole. Some are lazy and practice the fine art of apathy. But in most ways, they are a burden to the community. There's always a tug of war going on between the group of superior men who follow the alpha male and who are seeking to advance their community or group, and the group of inferior males who seek to retard any progress in the community, and they hate the alpha male. If the group of inferior men is too large, the group of superior men cannot manage them, and the community stagnates. Social rot sets in. That is why the percent of the number of superior men to the number in the overall community is important. If the total number is only 3%, the superior men will spend all of their time trying to prevent the inferior men from ruining the community and spreading havoc. If 40% of the total men of a community are superior, they can manage the 60% of inferior men easily. Even though the number of inferior men are greater than the superior men, they are no match for the superior men. The inferior men always bow to the will of a superior man when confronted. They just need to be confronted enough. This is the law of the jungle. The minimum number of superior men needed, the percentage of superior men necessary to hold the line, is 13%, with 12% being the margin. Anything over 13% is a good community. If the percent of superior men rises above 33%, then you really have a very good situation, and the major progress is possible. And major progress is possible in a short time. For if 33% of the men in a group are superior, they will have no trouble keeping the inferior men in check and influencing them to cooperate on the joint community efforts. This dynamic applies to communities in a geographic area. Institutions, corporations, tribes, churches, lodges, alumni chapters, orders, fraternities, and all such organizations of men with a serious full-time presence. Thus, the strength of a union of men is determined by how large their percentage is of the total population of men in the domain. And the strength of a union of men is measured by how charismatic and resourceful the alpha male is. Humans are not sorry. I'm like, first of all, why was I scared? Like, why are you scared? Hold on, y'all. Okay, that was the air shit in the door. And the strength of a union of men is measured by how charismatic and resourceful the alpha male is. Humans are not mammals. They are a class of animals all their own. The animal somewhat similar to a human is a dolphin. Humans are pack animals, not herd animals. A more accurate term would be tribal creatures. They are predators like wolves or bears. The natural organization for human society is in tribes. That's the natural, okay? Humans are born with a program for mating and relationship. It is called Tantra. Naturally, in an indigenous setting, there are mates in abundance. Humans have a natural cycle of maturity with periods. Each period lasts 7 years. If this natural cycle is followed, some percentage of humans in a tribe will evolve or develop to the superior level of evolution, called also the ab stage. There are signs of this at birth. These ab or superior humans are intended to govern and manage the tribe, not to rule, but to show the other humans how to live in the best manner. The superior, a smaller percentage, oh, the superior humans carry out a policy but do not make it, and they resolve conflict. A smaller percentage of the tribe population will evolve even further to the divine stage or Ba stage. These select members of the tribe set policy. They are marked at birth, and we can tell who they are. If they are assisted and we do not hinder them, the divine humans, the Ba, will bring forth abundance in great measure. The masses will marvel. Girl, look at them. Talking about your sons, girl. Talking about our sons. They will bring forth abundance in great measure. It says the masses will marvel at what the divine humans will achieve. Okay? They are gifted to our sons and daughters. Okay? Because my homegirl, her daughter, and I they were going through their little thing, and so my homegirl was pushing being a business owner. And so she took that because she still wants to please her mom and went with it. And her business is booming. Beautiful, smart, goes to college, just successful on every level. And she balances it all. She do her own commercials for her store and our sons too. Shout out to Lisa Son Cash. I'm gonna shout you out. MMO in the building. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Are you serious?
I'm like,
Oh, I
what's
give
up?
up. I give up.
What happened? What you say?
I don't know. Oh, I just said MMO, y'all. If y'all want some information, hit me up.
Right. I've never seen somebody just pull together that many people, and we're talking about forex. We're not talking about shoes or clothes. We're talking actually something that can get you out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's beautiful. And then people do marvel. Those are divine humans. We talking
Mm-hmm.
about young and successful. Okay. Um, and we're successful too on our own
Yeah.
level.
Yes, we are.
People, but you can tell those that are divine humans. We got to give them their props. If you can't give another person their props, something wrong.
Right.
So it says that the masses will marvel at what the divine humans will achieve, and everybody has that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You got to activate whatever it is in your DNA
Mm-hmm.
and actually take action. Because in our community, a lot of us, king, queen, that sounds good, but we need the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody ain't a king or a queen.
Right.
There was just regular people in the past. We be out here off balance. Everybody can't be king or queen, okay? You can get
Yeah.
it tattooed, pierced. you can,
You
it's
know what?
no.
A lot of times other people will recognize it in you
Mm-hmm,
and you will not even know. Like, I'll give you
mm-hmm,
an example. One day I walked
mm-hmm,
into a certain store and this lady looked at me and she said, "You're a queen and you're not living up to your potential." Now, I
mm-hmm,
didn't know what that meant at the time, but based on all of the studies that I've been doing with you and others,
mm-hmm,
now I understand what she was saying.
mm-hmm,
So it's true. A lot of people will recognize it and tell you, but you won't understand what they're saying.
mm-hmm. And you gotta walk in it. It
Yeah.
ain't just gonna be a state of you being something. If you
Yeah.
don't have the behavior,
Yep. And
you
that's
might
important.
be inferior. And it's
Yeah.
okay
Yeah.
because community consists of all three.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It's a
So
process.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
process.
So that's beautiful. People tell me all the time I'm supposed to be in a leadership.
Mm-hmm. You are.
It's cool, but until I actually get out there and you know do the damn thing, and it's coming.
It
Don't worry,
is.
it's coming.
Yep.
But you have to walk the walk. You don't get to be a superior human or a divine human, and you're not walking the walk. These are people that act on their downloads, on their ideas. They get out there and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
They're not having ideas and writing them down and never looking at them again. That might be a little inferior behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they are gifted to create great healing modalities. I have seen this. They will show how to fight, grow food, heal the animals, steward the earth, create art, entertain, and educate in ways that will seem a miracle or a marvel. Some are gifted to create music, art, stories, sound, and dance, which can transport people into a state of bliss. They can know the best way to bring up children, to transport things, to harness and conserve energy. There's almost nothing they cannot do or undo. There is in this abundance of abundance. There is wealth in this, and in the proper context, poverty will cease to exist. Moreover, it is sustainable, and there is no need for laws to any great measure, for in the natural order, humans will regulate themselves. War is natural. Some level of conflict is natural as means to keep up checks and balances on the human tribes. But even in situations calling for war, humans are given certain codes and limits that allow the balance to be restored.
Mm.
That just made me think, okay, yeah. In a corporation, the superior men would be these supervisors and managers, and the inferior men would be the regular employees. In a street gang, the superior men would be represented by the core group around the leader, and the regular members represent the inferior men. In a lodge or fraternal order, the superior men are those who have advanced to the upper degrees, the temple degrees, and entrusted with the actual business of running the order. In a church, the superior men are represented by the deacons and trustees and men who chair the various committees and such. Although in truth, a man does not become superior man by appointment, he becomes a superior man based on his character and past behavior. Thus, we see that most men in modern society who have been entrusted with offices and positions normally held only by superior men are not superior men. This is the direct result of the scarcity model. The desire for profit has overruled good judgment. Inferior men are inferior men because their counterfeit persona is at the chronic level or worse. And it says inferior men are inferior men because the counterfeit persona is at the chronic level or worse. In other words, their CP is chronic or severe or worse. And they are inferior men because they only have one masculine energy archetype active. And sometimes even that one archetype is negative. As I have stated in earlier chapters, the counterfeit persona is contradictory to the house of the man. As the house of the man grows, the counterfeit persona becomes weaker. As a man activates his warrior, healer, eagle, and hunter, his counterfeit persona is diminished. A man who has three of his masculine archetypes online and active will almost certainly have a mild or acute counterfeit persona. A superior man is defined by having two or more of his masculine archetypes online. A superior man will have either an acute or mild version of the counterfeit persona. This is why he will not just follow any man. He will follow the alpha male because of his character. This is why a union of superior men has such power. They are self determined men and are more evolved and more mature than common men. Such men stand for something and are willing to sacrifice to build something. Any man can get a group of inferior men to follow him toward some ill conceived end, but it takes a true alpha male to lead a group of superior men, and it takes a real sage to guide the alpha male so that he becomes a hero. The alpha male needs the league of superior men, and the superior men need the alpha male. For the union of men to thrive and come into their own, there must be enough of them compared to the inferior men they must carry. In all societies, down through time, progress is made because the superior men carry the inferior men on their backs. Inferior men are produced by the scarcity model. That is why the scarcity model always fails in time. The more society embraces the scarcity model, the more power and wealth goes to a small elite group. The more the main group is stressed, the more inferior men it produces. It is one of the checks and balances of Mother Nature. Should a nation or tribe ever reach the point that 75 to 80% of the men in authority should become superior men, then a paradise on earth is created. These are the super societies. This is the old Hopi nation, the Dogon of Mali, the Shaolin Temple, and the great dynasties of ancient Kemet in Egypt. And there are many more forgotten in our limited history. The sacred code of superior men, the unspoken man code. Code number one: honor is everything, only bend to keep from breaking. Death is better than dishonor. Code number two: our creed, religion, mission is our calling from God. Code number three: you are your brother's keeper, members of tribe only. Never abandon him, never snitch on him, never betray him or never betray him to our enemies. Code number four: there are only two positions in the tribe. You are either leading or you are following. Command those below you, obey those above you. There's only one organization, the hierarchy, one common unity. Code number five: a superior man stands up straight. A superior man stands up straight. True words, true faith, and true spirit. Code number six: a man shows courage even in the face of fear, embarrassment, or pain. Code number seven: the superior man lives in reverence of life. He is fully engaged in life. He is fully present. Only in this way does he honor his ancestors. Mm. And so that was code number seven. The superior man lives in reverence of life. He is fully engaged in life. He is fully present. Only in this way does he honor his ancestors.
Yeah, that's deep. Wow. I wonder how many men feel as though there would be a code seven.
Right. I don't think many.
And they did actually. Remember when I said about the inferior, how inferior man actually gets there? They did actually state that
Mm-hmm. Mm.
inferior men are produced by the scarcity model. Hmm.
Mm. Yeah, I can see that, especially in these gang infested areas and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Hmm. The mindset.
Right. Okay. Men by nature desire structure. Women by nature desire flexibility. Men nature Men by nature seek to create order and value in life through a code of conduct. This is especially evident as men transform from the Sahu stage in their development to the Ab stage. Ab means heart, and men are naturally inspired by a code that requires them to strive to become better than they are. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I done had a good yarn. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with men by nature desire structure. Women by nature desire flexibility. Men by nature seek to create order and value in life through a code of conduct. This is especially evident as men transform from the Sahu stage in their development to the Ab stage. Ab means heart, and men are naturally inspired by a code that requires them to strive to become better than they are. This is one of the main motivations for boys and men to join gangs, join teams, and join the army or religious orders. It is all the same. They want to be given a challenge and then grow enough to conquer it. The heart of any team or order or army is this code. Male organizations with strict codes and high ideals tend to operate better than organizations without them. Even in the corporate organizations, there is often an effort to create a male culture around these values. Men need something to pledge themselves to. They often find this in the devotion to a code. Normally, they become more devoted to the code than to wives, family, or nations. For this reason, women are usually in conflict to the codes and will work to diminish them. This longing of the male is not a social thing, not at all. It is in response to traits embedded deep within his DNA. It is primal. No true understanding of male behavior can be achieved until you understand this. Mm, that all was good. So this is why they join armies and gangs. Okay, men sense their divinity. They start adult life in the Sahu state, the juvenile state, at least as boys, but they are driven by internal urges to evolve. But how can he do this? Most societies impede human development. A few indigenous societies promote evolution, but not many. Thus, he is stuck with the I, and his only route to evolve lies in the forced relationships of the we. So he joins. A prudent and wise society would provide and supervise these orders and male organization, but wisdom is not a strong point in Western society. There are many examples of this and are too many to mention here. Even the Masonic order is based on similar principles, even though it is a mystery system and technically not a male society. What formed the nexus of each of these generations was a strict code of conduct and a holy or righteous mission. Of course, others did not view their activities as holy. Most of them were capable of brutal violence and antisocial behavior that bordered on demonic. The English word brave, given to the members of the Lakota Sioux, is incorrect. It does not mean warrior. In their language, the word indicated a man of high ideals. Their code of service was very similar to the code of Nazi SS. The Nazi SS code was rooted in the belief in a master race, racial purity, fitness, military preparedness, and loyalty. The Lakota Sioux believed in racial purity, fitness, courage, devotion to the tribe, and loyalty. Their beliefs stemmed from a spiritual event in the 1700s, the coming of the white buffalo holy woman, who revived their sacred rites. But the Lakota engaged mainly in the defense of their lands and rarely attacked their neighbors without provocation. They did not consider themselves a master race. The Nazi SS were just the opposite. The Mama of Kenya held very similar beliefs to the samurai of Japan. They prided themselves with an ability to thrive in the jungle. They fought to free Kenya and the Congo from the British and Belgian rule. The Knights Templar held a code of chivalry. They were 7 to 12 tenets to their code, depending on which version you accept. Part of this code involved proper and polite treatment of women, a big issue at the time. In case of the Ansantiman warrior clan of Ghana, we see that same pattern. They came into existence during the fight to free the seven Akan states from the oppression of a neighboring nation. They became the most feared warriors in the region, but part of their code involved humility and treating others fairly. The Asante Man code was based on the deities and spiritual beings called the Osoro Bofo, Abufu. Um, It is very similar to the code above. Indeed, I believe all of the male codes were based to some extent on the virtue of deities as a template for human behavior. If not deities, then ancestor worship.
Hmm.
We know that the Nazi SS was heavily influenced by the Nordic culture and ancestor worship. Most indigenous male codes are made of about 7 principles or less, and in all tree of life based cosmologies, there are 7 principal deities, angels, or star beings. It is not a coincidence, for if we examine the samurai code of Bushido, its 7 principles align almost perfectly with the character virtues of the 7 deities of the tree of life. I just feel like I was reading straight through. I'm a
That was
pause.
a lot.
Right.
He said a lot. And some of the stuff I understood and some of the stuff I did not understand.
He was talking about a whole bunch of the different ancient known, because we know there was plenty of tribes, but the ancient known tribes, the ones that made it in the history books across the whole world, so to speak,
Hmm.
or from every continent. And so I like that he explained this is why men join gangs and
Mm-hmm.
churches, just organizations where they a little more organized and they have a common goal to work towards. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because some of them they don't get it from home or they just don't have it. And like you said, they got to join something in order to get it.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so now you might be asking, what does it all mean? It means that men naturally respond to a code of conduct based on the 7 principles of the main deities of the tree of life. In the original Kemetic or Kabbalah versions of the Tree of Life systems, there are 9 deities, but once you do the research, it is the same thing. The 3 top deities, the Trinity, act as one and are considered one. Men are DNA driven to evolve into their divinity. Many hero legends weave this mythology into their tales. Instinctively, they feel drawn to these male organizations based on a code. Clever men have used this knowledge to create male societies for their own political purposes. Hitler spells it out for you in his book, Mein Kampf. He is not by any means the only one. The U.S. Army employs this model in its training and recruitment. At least it did. With women in the military, things are changing. And if you think this model is something powerful, elite men have been using for decades to control the harness male groups, you would be right. If you think they have stopped, you would be wrong. Check out the way Google has shaped its corporate culture. Read the life of pro football coach Vince Lombardi. It could get deeper. But if you do the research, understand and be advised that the rich and powerful have learned how to push your buttons. They know how to program you. They simply tap into your DNA programs already hardwired.
Mm-hmm.
Pro sports are the biggest and most prominent male society today. It is an exclusive male club about as hard to be admitted to as it gets. They have territories, cities, enemies, and a holy mission. Pro teams follow this playbook more closely than the U.S. Army. They employ sacred icons, totems, and have built temples for worship. You call them stadiums. Billions of dollars change hands. The games are made to stimulate war as closely as possible. It started as a simple game, but the billionaires formed leagues as well. The drug culture and the drug cartels are another clear example. The elite got involved and changed the game. If you only knew who was at the real head of these cartels, It is a man in the three-piece suit on Wall Street, not the public drug kingpin you see paraded on TV. If members of the KKK really knew their overlord and what the true mission of the organization was, they would all most likely quit. We will treat the religions in a separate discussion. Men know that your boundary circles have been created for you and you need to examine them. Men know that your code of conduct, the version of the man code crafted for you, is not authentic. In centuries past, these male societies had a noble purpose. Today, men are just being played on such a grand scale as to boggle the mind. They got you hating people and groups who are not even your enemy. They create boundary circles for you that are illogical and serve no good purpose. I urge every man reading this to re examine your boundaries, your male groups, and your code of conduct or lack of one. Don't get depressed when it hits you.
Mm. Wow, that's deep.
So we got it in. That was chapter 14. It was a whole lot, but the
That was.
sum of it all was there are three different levels of man. You got inferior, superior, and what is it, divine?
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
he summed up the state of the world because all that gang stuff is letting you
Mm-hmm.
know they looking for somebody to follow. It's just on a low. Well, I can't even say lower because the army do the same thing, like you said. They looking for somebody to follow.
Yeah.
They mission is just different. So yeah, Lisa, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I gotta go to the taco festival, and it's way across town. So I'm gonna get out of here. I want to get up with you later. I'm not gonna be out late. Well, I don't know. Yesterday I got back and I was just so tired.
Well, you know what? Go out and enjoy yourself. That's the most important thing.
Right, right.
Definitely get out, have some fun. I myself, I'm about to go to a paint and sit,
Good,
and I'm going to enjoy myself.
good, good.
So
And we'll get these stamps on these documents sometime this week. Okay.
yes.
I did
So
everything. Peace and power.
peace and power, everyone. Hit me up if you want to know about forex, and if you need some candles, I can definitely create something nice for you.
Mm. All right, and y'all don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
Yes. Comment too.
Right. All right, y'all. We're gonna go. Peace.
Peace.